Hey, everybody, welcome to the Spark. Hope you're doing fantastic on today. And I hope that everything is going the way you want it to go in this great year of 2023. Here we are, all, 3 weeks into January, and already great and wonderful things are happening in our life. And I hope that's happening for you, because I know this right here, that however you set your mindset, things are going to begin to happen for you. So thank you for joining me on today. I have some great stuff for you. Like I always say, I just believe that we're in a time right now where things begin to progress quicker and faster because we have a better knowledge and understanding of how to make them do that, or how to bring those things about. And so I'm going to stop using the word that, we create and everything like this, because I was studying this week and I come to find out that it's already created. It was created from the very foundations of the world. God himself, the universe, did that. And so what we're doing right now, we're bringing these things into our experience. And so if you want to use creation in that manner, yes, but if you understand that God is the creation and the creator, then you understand where I'm coming from. So what we need to do is to line up. I heard something really interesting this week that really, really sparked my attention. And oftentimes we bump into things, we wonder why this happened or that happened. And the example that this young man used, he says, if you take 5 plus 6 and you come up with 12, he says, then that's the wrong end result. He says, but do you throw away 12? He said, because if you throw away 12, now when you add 6 plus 6, you don't have 12 to go to. So he was making the point that a lot of times what ends up happening, we just got the process wrong. And I use this with my students on this week. And I told them sometimes we just get the process wrong, but that doesn't make the end result something that we want to throw away. We want to back up and get the process right. And so 5 plus 6 equals 11, and then 6 plus 6 equals 12. Those are the correct ways of getting it done. I believe it's the same way in your life. If you haven't done so, shout yourself out, because I'm pumped up today, because today I'm going to go a little bit further into your imagination. And this is, if you will, part 2 of use your imagination. And so what I really want to do, I want to get to the practical application part of it. I want to talk to you about some things on today to help bring you along, because as you know, this year of 2023, I've entitled it Imagine 2023. And the reason why I'm saying Imagine 2023, because if you can get that image on the inside of you and begin to stay with that image, you're going to see 2023 be everything that you want it to be. So get the right image. I believe what I'm going to teach you on today, I believe a lot of people use this already, but they just use it incorrectly. Maybe their process, like I was talking about the equation, their process is off. And so what I mean, instead of using their imagination in a positive manner to bring about positive things in their life, they may be using it, and this might include you, because I know I've done it in the past, using it to bring about the wrong things in your life, the things you don't want, the incorrect things. So you just got to get your process right. You're using it. You just got to get your process right. So let's talk about that. All right. So we said before, you can experience your heart's desire using your imagination. And we also told you last week, nothing is impossible to your imagination. Now, that's good news. Finally, we said your imagination is unlimited in what it can accomplish. So if that is the case, we better find out how to use our imagination. And that's what I want to talk to you about, how to use your imagination. In other words, what I want to do, I want you to get an understanding of the mechanics of how to put it all down. And I believe this will help you. So we're going to go through about 6 steps, and I want you to write them down, and then I want you to use them daily. Use them daily. You can't be nonchalant about this. I was talking to my daughter on yesterday, and she was talking about the process of her becoming a professional basketball player and how she had to be all in on it. And she had to do those things that she was led to do in order to be all in. And I agree with her 100%. I said, that's exactly what life is all about. Many times, what we do, we're so focused on the means and the ways and everything, and we forget about the end result. And I told my daughter last night, but it's because it's something that I've written on one of my whiteboards in my office. Focus on the end results, not the means to achieve. And so when you do that, because you're going to have to do some things, and there may not be things that you want to do. My daughter was talking about getting up and practicing early in the morning and spending the money to take trips to be seen and things of that nature. And that's a part of the process. You may not like it, so don't focus on that. Focus on the end results, and you're going to get where you're supposed to be. So let's talk about how to use your imagination today. All right. Number one, and I believe this is one of those critical factors that most people don't do. They don't take time to do this. You need to determine with all finality what you want to do, have, or be. That's the bottom line. You need to determine it. All right. Remember what I shared with you early. It already exists. Now, people always ask me this question. And so I'm going to go about it a way. I don't want you to judge it. I just want you to listen to me. Then what I want you to do, I want you to determine for yourself if I'm going down the right path. Live it out and you will prove it for yourself. You remember I tell you about TP, tried and proven. I want you to do that. All right, so here's the first thing that you got to do. Determine what you want to do, to have, or to be. Remember, it already exists. Where is it at? It is in the fourth dimension. What do you mean? We live in a three-dimensional world. You know we do. But there is such a thing as the fourth dimension. Study. Scientists have already determined that this is true. Just go and type out, say, what is the fourth dimension? Well, here's what the fourth dimension is. The fourth dimension is the thought dimension where qualities only exist in your mind. But by virtue that it can exist in your mind, it can also exist in the third dimension. That's why I say it's already done, because you wouldn't be able to think of it if it wasn't already done. And what you have to do is now move it into the third dimension. All right. So when you get with all finality what you want to do, have, or be, you have laid down the foundation. Now, even if you have to, I'll say this, even if you have to write it out and put it on paper so that you can go back and review it. I have my journal and I do that. You don't have to do that, but boy, I tell you what, it helps you a lot if you do, because you can refer back. And also, here's something else I learned about doing it that way, is that the picture becomes clearer as you spend more time with it, and then you can keep updating your picture. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So once you do that, now, once you know what you want to have, do, or be, I want you to now relax. Just relax, okay? Go into a state of relaxation, whether you're sitting in a chair or lying on your bed or whatever, and close your eyes, okay? Once you do that, that was step number 2. Here's number 3. Bring it into mind an image of the end result. Remember, I told you, don't worry about all the means and steps and all of that. Just get the end result. And when I say bring in the end result, what would be the end result of the thing that you are desiring, that you are imagining? Let me give you a couple of examples of what the end result looks like. The end result, let's say you wanted a new job, a higher paying job. Well, the end result would be you in your imaginative period seeing your paycheck at a certain amount. Even though right now in the natural, it's not there, you're seeing that. You're looking at your pay stub. Now, listen what I'm saying closely. You're holding your pay stub in your hand and you're looking at your pay stub, and it has increased to that amount. If somebody's shaking your hand and they are congratulating you on receiving the promotion. Now, when I say that, I want you to listen to a special thing that I share. Bring in what is called the tones of reality. I'm going to say it again. Bring in the tones of reality. What are the tones of reality? Well, the tones of reality are using all of your senses while you imagine the end result. In other words, you want to bring your feelings into your touch, your smell, your sight. You want to see it. That's why I say you got to hold it in your hand. Notice I'm using the touch, and now I'm using visual because I'm seeing the increase. I'm seeing my pace up. Maybe I'm reaching my hand out, and in there, someone is grabbing my hand and shaking my hand, congratulating me. Maybe somebody, my significant other, my spouse, or whatever, or your good friend is giving you a hug, congratulating you. I am sharing with you, bring in the tones of reality. Now, you might say, what is the tones of reality? Go look it up. I'm telling you, I'm not saying anything that's not there. And I'm going to say this too. I'm not saying anything that the Bible doesn't share with you as well. So even for my people who are really on the Bible, I like that. But you've got to understand that this is how it's done. Now, that was so far, I've given you 4 steps. I got 2 more. All right. Step number 5. Yeah. Okay. Let me go back real quickly. Determine what you want. Number 2, relax. Close your eyes. Number 3, bring into mind an image of the end result. Number 4, bring in the tones of reality. Use all your senses. Here's number 5. Don't be concerned with how. Boy, oh boy. Now, that is the one that trips me up even to this day, because I will look at a certain situation and I'll say, how in the world can that be? How can we get there? How can we get there? Well, listen, your imagination, your subconscious will use whatever means are necessary to bring it about. You don't have to get all wrapped up in it. You don't have to do anything illegal, crooked, cheat, or any of that. You don't have to do that. You just have to say, you know what? I'm not going to be concerned with the how. I'm going to be concerned with the end result. And I'm going to stay focused on the end result until I see it. Because this leads to number 6. Because I know that it is done in the 4th dimension. And in the 3-dimensional world, events appear in a time sequence. In other words, I've already seen it in the 4th dimension in my mind. Now I'm just waiting for that time sequence for it to show up in this 3rd-dimensional world in which I coexist. Because you can exist in the 4th dimension. Boy, I'm getting excited. Let me slow down. You can exist in the 4th dimension and the 3rd dimension at the same time. It's fantastic. How do you exist in the 4th dimension? I already shared with you. The 4th dimension is the thought dimension where qualities only exist in your mind. The 3rd dimension, I would call that the subjective dimension. The 3rd dimension is the objective, where objects show up in your life. Now, I'll tell you, this is good stuff. This will help you. This will take you to the next level. All right. So I've given you those 6 steps. Now, let me give you a couple of key points, and I'm going to let you go today. All right. Couple of key points. Number 1, this is not daydreaming. What do you mean? Well, you know how it was when you were in school. You used to look out the window and daydream, and the teacher would tell you to knock that daydreaming stuff off and get back to work. You know what I'm talking about. This is not daydreaming. Why is it not daydreaming? Because you enter the dream. You are in it. Remember I said you should see your hands holding it. You should feel the touch. I have a thing that I'm doing right now. I see myself opening the door handle and pulling the door open to go into this building. That's right. I'm working that process myself. I see my hand doing it. I'm living it. Here's what this one mentor told me. He says, David, make then over there, make that now. Where do you do that at? In your imagination. He says, and then make there, over there, right here, right now. How do you do that? In your imagination. If you do that, you're not daydreaming. You've entered the dream. And that's what I want you to do. Use your imagination and put yourself in that place. Number 2, feel yourself. See yourself. Smell yourself. Taste yourself in the imaginative state. Use all of your senses. And if you got to go one by one to do it, just do it. You have got this. Watch this right here. Your imagination, your subconscious mind, where the imagination exists, cannot tell the difference between something you are imagining and what's real. And what your subconscious will do, it will go to work to prove out the very thing that you are imagining. But that's powerful. Now, once again, if you don't believe that, You're going to struggle with this. But I challenge you to go and study what scientists and doctors have already discovered is true about the power of your imagination, the power of your mind. All right, here's number 3. Be persistent. Continue to imagine until you have obtained in the objective world what you want. It's in the subjective. Now it's going to show up in a time sequence in the objective. Stay with it. Don't talk it down. Don't give it up. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Sometimes you can't even share with people, and I used to teach this all the time. You cannot share your faith with certain people because they're just not ready to go where you are. And you know those people. So guess what? Don't try to convince them. Don't share it with them. You do it and let the end result prove out what you're using. Then you can help them, because that's really what it's all about. And here's the final one. If some action is needed on your part, you will be led to do so in a normal manner. So don't go out and try to make nothing happen. Don't go out and lie, cheat, and steal to try to make it happen. Don't go out and try to fake it to make it happen. You will be led to do it. True story, and I'll wrap it up with this. There was a certain vehicle that I wanted. I wanted this vehicle. Well, the first time that I went to the dealership, this vehicle was like $76,000. And I used to always say, I'm not going to pay that much. So I imagined myself driving that vehicle. As a matter of fact, the day I was at the dealership, I asked if I could sit in the car. And the guy was like, oh, yeah. It was a young lady actually said, you can drive in this. And I did all of that. I drove it. And what was I doing? I was getting something that my imagination could go back to, that I could envision and go back to. So I had something. I knew what the smell of the car was. I knew what the feel of the leather covered steering wheel was. I felt the power in the car, but the car was still $76,000. And I said, I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to pay that. Would you believe that today that car is in my garage right now? And you know how I did it? I did it using what I'm sharing with you right now. I did it using that. And guess what? It was just a matter of a few weeks before I had that car. Now, somebody said, well, you could have had the car, you just paid for it. But I didn't pay $76,000 for it. That's the key factor. Because I said, I imagined I would not pay that amount for it. And I didn't. And so what I am encouraging you with on today is to use this to be your very best and to go there. All right. I hope this has helped you. If it has, please share this with somebody, because we got to go to the next level. There's certain things you want to do, certain things I want to do. And the way to get it done is what I'm sharing with you right now. But remember this right here. Share this video. And remember, you are the architect of your life, and I believe in you. I'll see you on next week. Bye.